Pyro's remote asteroid bases are a great location for both FPS and ship combat, as well as being a prime spot for finding Scorched armour, weapons and attachments. You'll see every step of the process in this video, from getting there, finding the loot, and tips for coming out alive and ready to go again. If you're here for help with a specific problem, everything's in chapters so you can skip to what you need. If you're here for the whole guide, grab yourself a drink, and let's do this. Take enough ammo for an extended firefight. And I'll always prefer a med gun, as med pens don't seem that reliable in 4.0.1. Access to one of the high loot areas requires a tractor beam, so grab a multi-tool and keep the rifle slot free. And I'd recommend heavy armour on the chest for the larger backpacks. Seems my character's getting impatient, so let's head out. Remote asteroid bases are scattered throughout Pyro, and have the same markers on the star map as Lagrange points. They all start with RAB, but as you can see here, searching for them doesn't always bring them up, so you may need to find them manually. Top tip, if you're looking to avoid PvP, head to a more remote base. I know it's obvious, but the ship you take will matter, unless you're just planning a one-way trip and don't intend to come back in it. If you are going to dogfight all the way there, you'll need something handy in a prolonged fight, so careful with the ballistics. Alongside serious threats like the Hornet, Glaive and Sabre, I've seen hulls, vultures, and even a few Argo rafts for, well, reasons. Consider a ship with internal storage too. You'll be able to stay out looting for longer. If you're planning on sidestepping the fight, you can do that and still have your ship intact to come back to without much bother. Use the smaller asteroid fragments to block incoming, but you're still likely to take some hits, just like I do here. If you don't muck about though, you will be able to head straight in and you should be fine. What you're looking for are the lights of the station in this massive dust cloud. The most obvious feature is the red light at the end of a huge strut. You can see that I spot it here in the top left. Near where it connects to the asteroid, you'll see this series of reddy orange storage tanks. That's where we're headed. There's a crater in the asteroid right next to it that provides superb cover against how the AI currently fly and fight. If you don't immediately spot those tanks, be careful about circling the base. It does have turrets for defense, and they will light you up if you let them. Now that we're in the crater, even though I take the odd hit, it's never enough to do any real damage. You can engage them from here at your leisure. You can see multiple targets, all with a clear line of sight, and yet none of them really engage or bother me at all. But I am here for the loot, and it's time to get inside. I'm going to speed up this whole EVA process on screen because it's just boring to watch, but let me give you an overview of where we are and where we're headed. That red light on the big single strut on the mast is horizontal, or basically flat, relative to the base itself. Those two prongs with triple white lights are pointed down from the entrance, and you can see the tanks that we're at just between them. The airlock Bravo, is located here. As long as you park up close to where I have, you can keep all of those struts on your left, stay close to the rock, and you'll eventually come up on Bravo airlock here. It's the only way in from the outside, which is a little bit unfortunate, seeing as it looks like it was put together by an enthusiastic 5-year-old armed with nothing but duct tape. Close your eyes, clench your butt cheeks, and pressurize. That's the worst bit of this whole thing. Seriously. The good news is that the interior layouts of each base are functionally identical. We're going to push past the security kiosk and clear both sides before moving into the bar. Then through the passageway across to the gun store. I'd recommend you clear through the whole facility before engaging in any serious looting. This way, you'll not be caught out by players lurking inside, and you can just deal with AI respawns. From the entrance hall, you can head either side of the security kiosk. Dead NPC or player. From here on out, I'm going to need to play it cagey. This is just after some server maintenance happened, so the person that killed them could still be in here with me. I always go left at the junction. On the right side there's some steam coming down from a vent that we can't see through, but of course the AI can. Use this new angle to clear the right side and make sure that nothing's going to come up behind you. This is the steam that I was talking about, and these two areas either side are one of the places AI can respawn. I can actually see into the security kiosks at multiple points, and yep, there's a special loot crate. More on how to tell what they contain later. Loot gets its own section later in the video, but you can see I'm checking bodies and weapons. Weapons here have attachments that are rare or of the Scorched type. This next area I've nicknamed the atrium, and the AI tend to get dug in here and use the cover to get multiple angles on the choke point. So slow down. Head into the bar on the left, the first of our high loot areas. Just be aware that NPCs might be hiding behind the bar itself, or using the pool table as cover. True to my word, I'm not looting yet. There may still be one or more players in here, not to mention AI respawns at any moment. As we come back into the atrium, you'll notice there are some restrooms on the left, but AI don't tend to respawn in there, so I'm going to leave that for now and head through the passageway. I know it's imaginative to call it the passageway, but this leads us towards the gun store, and there can sometimes be laser mines on the left here. You'll notice that I checked that walkway for players, and then do a quick visual check of the hidden area here, just in case the players tried to camp it. It's clear, so now it's time to assault the gun store. I head across the entrance to the far corner before peeking. Might seem risky, but there are a load of hitbox issues with a plastic screen hanging down, so this is safer. The gun store is our second high loot area. Just give me a moment to clear through before we take a look at the goodies. The gun cage doesn't just have loot containers, it also has physicalized loot on the shelves and in the gun racks. Note that open orange box. I'll get to that in just a moment. Here I check many of the common loot locations, and the shelves can have stuff laid out, including food that isn't Pyro's usual rat on a stick. Ugh. I don't want to spoil all of the loot locations, there needs to be some excitement, right? So we'll head out. Because now we've cleared all of the hostile NPC areas on this deck. As we come out, another visual check of the walkway, and now I'll show you how to get up there. Because this little secret area is our third high loot location at asteroid bases. Once you've searched the area and looted, go past the dead NPC that's lying on the floor here and pull a 180. You'll keep to the wall on the right and use the trash to get up onto the broken steps. It can be a little fiddly, but it's worth it for the loot that is at the far end of the walkway and for a great location to stop attacking players. Once you're done, jump down and head back through the passageway. I'm going to show you the two areas at each base you'll want to check every time you come to one. For the second area, this is where you'll need the tractor beam. This is the space immediately behind the security kiosk, and you can drop down into it, noting that there's a crate on the left here that can be used with the tractor beam. Head through this small opening into the tunnel and turn left. About halfway down the passage on the left, you'll notice there's a little chute. This is the exit from the security kiosk, but you can't use it to get in. Right at the end of the tunnel, there's a possibility you'll get the second special loot crate. No luck this time. Once you're done down here, head back through the opening to where we saw that crate and climb up the ladder. I should mention here there are a possibility that some laser mines will spawn that you won't have line of sight to, but a grenade or two will clear them. We're now going to access the security kiosk, which is the last of the high loot areas, once I've done a quick sweep. We need to grab a crate and put it under this steam, but it doesn't need to be one of the grey and yellow ones we all know and love. There are a couple here that aren't as obvious that you can move, just like this one. Please do your best to ignore how badly I do moving this in position, and maybe, if you feel bad enough, consider subscribing. Once it's under the steam and you're able to climb up, Look at this ledge and jump. That's you now in the vents. The drop down on our right here is our way into security, but head to the end over this little fence type blocker first into another high loot area. Embrace your inner loot goblin, then drop down into the security kiosk's armory. Here you can actually open some of the lockers, check the gun racks, and then head round into the reception area. You'll notice that I checked the block door first. All those angles we've used to look in can be used against us, so clear your blind spots. And here's what I've come for, that special loot crate. Once you're done, the exit chute is here in the far corner. Drop down, make your escape, and count the spoils of your victory. There's enough weapons, ammo, food and drink here to bounce from one asteroid base to the next, so as long as you have space in your ship to let you stock up at the next one. And here's where it gets interesting. Alongside the normal loot crates, there are two types of specials that always contained either Scorched armour in the orange crates, or weapons and attachments in the purple. And Scorched isn't just a new look, it brings improved stats over weapons, armour and attachments of the same type that aren't Scorched. So you don't just get a good looking piece of kit, it's a tactical advantage too. Regarding that open toolbox like loot crate, it often holds a custodian that has decent attachments, including one of the subscriber flare underlights. You will see some NPCs throughout this location that seem to have a send location option. They seem to be a mission that either I don't have or hasn't been implemented yet, but you can still loot them, so go ahead. Finally, watch your back. These are loot-rich areas with items we can't get commonly everywhere else, meaning they're a prime spot for players to head to. Be alert, listen to your sound cues such as the airlock cycling, footsteps and sprinting, or ships fighting outside, and be prepared to ambush anyone looking to move in on your score. You've been watching Drinkers with Gaming Problems. Thank you very much for stopping by. I'll see you soon.